Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Wednesday, May the 7th, and today is all about the U.S. Federal Reserve. We've got headlines being that China has agreed to trade with the U.S., so some trade negotiations there. A lot of other noise in the headlines. Disney came out and raised profit forecast on strong parks and streaming revenue. Oxford Properties is doing a deal in the office space area. We've got concerns over the global supply chain being torn apart with the trade talks going on. We've got concerns around legal fees for lawyers for pardons in the Trump administration, and then potential signals of war between Pakistan and India. If we turn our attention to the markets and look at the futures, we're about 38 minutes before the open, and the futures have turned green or are green going into the morning session after coming off a day where things were red yesterday. If we take a look at what that means in the Yahoo Finance app, few stocks that were or have reported. AMD is up after earnings yesterday after market close. They had some positive results. You can see retail is a mix of red and green, more green than red. You get down to transport, I think there's still some concerns there. You get down to crude, and crude has, interestingly enough, not really had a rough ride, although crude is down. The oil refining stocks have kind of held their own and have been doing okay. Most of them look to be in the green this morning, with crude having been up and still up a penny, but on its way down to under 59.10, which is a pretty low, a low range for crude oil futures. Then we get into the NASDAQ primarily, or the tech stocks, and it looks more green than red, but it is a mixed bag. You've got Apple still declining after its results last week. Palantir falling again yesterday after its results. You've got others like the cybersecurity in the green for the most part. Microsoft has been up after good earnings. It fell a little yesterday just with the overall market. ARM announces after market today, so this will be an interesting one to watch. With AMD coming out and having positive results, TSMC positive, I'm pretty bullish on ARM today having some good results. All of that could be tempered with whatever Federal Reserve, U.S. Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says at 2 o'clock, what comes out at 2 o'clock and what he says at 2:30 in the press conference. So that'll be worth having a look at just to see not necessarily what he says, because all the economic data supports no moves to interest rates, just keeping them where they are right now. But it's what the U.S. President Donald Trump will say around Jerome Powell and his unwillingness, and that's probably putting it kindly and politely in comparison to what he'll say, but his unwillingness to move rates. I think Meta is pretty attractive right now. I bought some Meta prior to close last night, and I'm going to be up this morning. Hopefully that will continue to move up towards 600, and I'll probably look at dumping that and buying it back when it drops down again. And another one that's been coming back is TSM, and I really like TSM. I hold some TSM. I've held it through the downturn, and it has gone down, and it's starting to come back up. They've had great results. I think this quarter, they're going to have, this quarter being next quarter, when they announce Q3, they're going to have great results again. There's just a ton of demand going on. We've seen it with the results in the CapEx spending from the big companies, and we're hearing it as well from the smaller companies. And then you get into financials, and financials have had a good run. So in my mind, they're kind of at a point where they need to pull back a little bit. So I'm keeping my eye on these, but I still like Goldman, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan, especially if they pull back at all. I'd be looking to buy into those. That's where we are on May 7th. Good luck in your trades today. Keep an eye out for 2 p.m. with the Jerome Powell announcement from the Fed, and we'll see what happens. If you like the videos, please hit the like and